Alright, lads and lassies. So, I have a ton of parts that I kind of have stockpiled. Stuff for the Nero, stuff for the Outcast. Like I've got some RPM A-arms for the Outcast right here. I haven't switched over to these yet because I wanted to see how the stock ones did. And they did great. But there's no point in owning these if I'm just going to keep them in my little parts bin here. So I'm going to go through and make a video and put a bunch of this crap on that I have all stocked up. So if you can see here, this whole bag is for the Nero. I've got the Hoboa shock caps. I have a steering, let's see, an aluminum steering mount, servo mount. What the crap are these called? Tie rods. Got some nice aluminum tie rods from GPM for the Nero. Just all sorts of good stuff. So rather than just leave it here in my little tool bag, I'm gonna make a couple videos and start putting some of this stuff on. Everything in here is for the Outcast. I don't even know what's in there. There's some more A-arms. There's an aluminum steering horn. So you guys get the idea. I got all sorts of stuff. There's a hot racing or T-bone racing wheelie bar for the Nero, I believe. I got a light kit in here. I got all sorts of good stuff. So, whoa now. Anyway, so I'm gonna make a couple separate videos for that. So let me get one of the trucks up here and we'll start on one of them. Okay guys, so I think I'm gonna work on the Outcast first. So what I have here is RPM A-arms. I believe these are the front uppers and lowers. I have two of them. I guess that's the part number somewhere in there. I have the rears. The Outcast, unlike some other trucks, only has one lower rear A-arm. I was thinking it had an upper and a lower, so I ordered two of these, ended up having to sell the other one. So I don't know if there's a part number on there. I don't think there is. So there's those. What else do I got? Got some turnbuckles here. I'm just going through my parts. I don't need those. I have some assembled turnbuckles with the cups, and I actually, when I first got this thing, that was the first thing to break. It broke right here where it threads in. The metal rod threads into the cup, so that broke, and what I had to do is replace it with, I believe it was an Associated. Let's see, which one was it? I think it was this guy on the front. It's gonna be hard to tell. See how that one is straight all the way, and the one on this side has that little curved cup end. So I might as well replace that. Although this one's done good, I can just keep it for a spare. And got lots more spares there. More turnbuckles. So yeah, it looks like this video, there it is. There's the Associated turnbuckle rod. And as you can see, the Arrma ones have the big nut right in the center, where this one doesn't. So that's really the only difference, and the ends. So I've really put most of my parts on the Outcast already, except for these RPM arms. So with this video, I'll just go ahead and put those on. And I haven't messed with them yet, so I'll be learning. And I have a lot more parts for my Nero, so once I get this video done, we'll move on to the Nero, and I'll put a bunch of my upgrades on that one. So let me get set up here, pull the wheels off real fast, and we'll get started with it. Oh no, I'm scared already, guys. So here on the front, you can see these balls. They thread right into the A-arms, top and bottom, and I really have no idea how to get those out. So yeah, I might have to do some YouTubing, I guess. I don't know. Never messed with that, and I don't want to mess anything up. Everything else is just bolts. Like here in the back, you can see there's one here. Undo this guy, and this whole thing just pops off. You can replace your arm. So the rear will be easy. The front is kind of freaking me out. So, alright, I'll see what I can do. I'll do some Googling, do some YouTubing, see what I can find out, because I've never had to mess with these. So, maybe take this out? I don't know. Okay, I'll see what I can find. Okay guys, so in the meantime I'll work on the rear. So what I've done, I've taken the shock pin out and the set screw. Just flip those up over. Next thing I'm going to take off is this nut and screw here that holds the turnbuckle. And then the next one will be down here, and this whole piece should come off. And then I will start to work up here on taking this end off. One thing I like to do, get yourself a nice little bin here. In this one I'm going to keep all of my nuts and pins and everything from the rear end, and that way it's easier to find your stuff. You can also clean them up a little before you put them back together, but it's a good way to keep track of your stuff. So let me loosen some of these and we'll come back and I'll show you how this comes off. One more thing I just thought of, guys. This is a good time to inspect your RC to make sure your bolts are tight, nothing's broke. And as I'm taking this apart, you can see here, this is adjustable. So if you want to set it back to the same position you had it, make sure you remember where your pin went through. You don't want one side here on this one and the other side up here where the bolt is. So just take note of where your pins and bolts are, and make sure to inspect everything and make sure there's no damage or anything that needs to be tightened. Sorry to keep jumping back and forth, guys, but this is impossible to do one-handed. So what I've done is I've taken this bolt and nut off, and then what will happen, that turnbuckle is free. This guy, I can't remember what it's called, will roll down, and then you have your axle shaft here that will come right out. Now these, doesn't matter if you get this mixed up with the other side. Only one end will go in one side, so just take those out, put them in your bin. So now from here we're going to finish disconnecting this bottom piece for this God, I can't remember what this is called. Anyway, you get it, this guy. And we're going to have to disconnect the sway bar, and then we'll have to take off this bottom skid plate to gain access to the pins that hold in this side of the A-arm. So, sorry, but I'll pause again and we'll come back. Okay guys, sorry. I tried to use my camera head mount and it didn't really work. I was way up here like this. So I'll explain what I've done. The point we were at is I took this skid plate off of here on the rear. Now what that does is it gives you access to, let's see, how does this go? This piece here. Under that piece is your keeper plate that goes here. Pop those off. You remove your sway bar here, and then your arm, your A-arm, will slide right off this pin. So right here I have the stock Arrma one. I've already taken it off. So now I have the RPM up there, and you just want to make sure that you line it up right. This is where your shock's going to go in. This is where your sway bar is going to go in. And while you have this apart, make sure you're checking stuff. I wiped this pin down. It was real dirty. So you're just looking at things and watching for damage. So what you want to do is repeat the process on this side. I need to take the shock off and the other axle carrier. I should have done that before, but I'm learning. So anyway, I'm going to keep working on this rear end, and I'll reverse the process to put it back together, and then I'll move to the front and see if I can figure out this deal. So give me a minute. Alright guys, we're almost reassembled. So I have the turnbuckles back on, the drive shafts back in, I have the new RPM arms, shocks are mounted, everything's good up to here. This is the part I didn't really go over, so I just wanted to point it out real quick. So the next thing is going to be this keeper here. Fits on like that. The next piece will be this little black rubber guy, plastic, sorry. It goes over that, like that. Then there's two screws that go in, and then you screw in your bottom skid plate to hold it all together. So that's what I'm going to do next. I just wanted to point that out real quick while I'm at this point, because didn't really see it too much earlier. Also, another thing to mention real quick, sway bars. I see on forums and stuff a lot of people asking about sway bars. Should I run them? Should I not? And everything I've been told and everything I've read is that you should, and everything I've experienced also. If you take these sway bars off and you punch the throttle, the truck will tend to twist as it goes. So, and in cornering and everything else, the sway bars help a lot. So in my opinion, I would say run them. But let me get back to this. I'll clean this stuff up, put it back together, and then I'll show you when it's all assembled. So what I did is I took the shock springs out, flipped them up over. I obviously taken the front bumper off, and I took the tie plate off, taking this side off. These are actually the RPM arms. I took the stock ones off, and at least on this side I have rebolted the sway bar. And so what I couldn't figure out is this right here, how these balls are seated in these cups back here, and then they're also threaded into the arms. What you have to do is take a 2.5 millimeter, you put it in here, and you loosen it, and it will actually thread out of this stock A-arm here. So that's what I've done on the other side. I'll do it on this side. 2.5 millimeter, put it in here, and you will loosen it, and it will thread out of this A-arm. So let me stop. I'll do this side and we'll come back. Alright guys, this is where I'm at. So these are the stock Arrma A-arms. So what I've got here, if you take your 2.5 millimeter Allen and you put it in the end here, you can unthread it. But if you'll notice this guy here on the bottom, this solid round spacer, that needs to stay on the bottom down here. So the top has one of these C-clip looking things. That will go up here on the top. So from there, all you have to do is screw this post into the new RPM A-arm, and then you'll come down here and put your pin in. It'll go into the body and you should be good to go. So let me work on that and I'll come back and explain more. Okay, so I went ahead and finished the truck. Video was starting to drag on, but it's really fairly simple. Like I was saying, up here on the front, I screwed the studs back into the A-arms, and then you slide it over your pin here and basically reassemble the truck. It's real simple. So yeah, I really like these arms. They're a lot stronger than the stock ones, and it went well. I'm ready for some abuse now, I think. So the Outcast is pretty well set up. I got the RPM arms all the way around, Techno springs front and rear, Team Losi shock oil, got the T-bone front bumper, hot racing steering servo mount and linkage, the chassis support front and rear, also got the wing mount, hot racing aluminum. I think that's it for now. So maybe we'll get into some more stuff later. But anyway, yeah, not a bad job to do, guys. It's fairly simple. Just keep track of all your screws and bolts and pins and everything else. And yeah, it's not too bad. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, share, leave me some comments. I love hearing the comments. And we'll see you on the next one.